Hi, everybody, and Happy New Year. Welcome, welcome. I am your host this evening, Robin Blank Mascari, along with my husband, Gregory, and we're here on Tuesday evenings to give you a brief summary of a very, very special company, a little overview, a little history, a little bit about our founder and inventor, along with the technology. And then we bring on one of our special guest doctors. And tonight we have Dr. Barbara Jennings. Always a treat to have Dr. Barbara with us. And then we turn things over to you to ask questions or share your stories. But we first like to start out with Gregory doing a very short presentation, and then we're going to continue on from there. So over to you, honey. I don't hear you, honey.
Is that better?
It's much better when your mute is off.
Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. So good evening, everyone, and Happy New Year. And so we got a brief little overview that's going to set the stage for when Dr. Jennings comes on. So I'm going to go ahead and start our little slideshow here. And X39, yes, it does activate stem cells. And moving into 2022, I finally figured out what I want to be when I get older is younger. And I'm sure many of you can relate to that. But before we get started with the presentation, let me ask you a personal question. If anything were possible, if you could wave a magic wand, what's one thing you would choose to experience differently in your health? And what difference would that make for you? Now, I just briefly want to say our products are not designed or intended to heal, treat, diagnose any disease. However, they do help our bodies get back into a more healthy, regenerative mode. And many times, really wonderful things begin to happen. So with that being said, welcome to the stem cell revolution, because we believe everyone wants to look, feel, perform, and live younger, probably as long as you're, older than 12 years old, maybe older than 20, but there's a point where we all want to look, feel, and perform like we were when we were 20, 30, 40 years old. And stem cells are the key because they're a vital part of our immune system that repairs and regenerates damaged cells everywhere in our body. Our organs, glands, muscles, bones, eyes, you name it. And stem cells are so vitally important. The problem is, here's the sad news. The older we get, the less stem cells we have. By age 60, only a small percentage remains. And the fewer we have, the faster we age and the slower we heal. And what about stem cell injections? Because they've become quite popular, but they're also quite expensive. They can be painful, risky, controversial. And you know what? You could spend thousands or tens of thousands of dollars, no guaranteed results. Well, I'm excited to tell you we've got some really good news for you here tonight, because you can look, feel, perform, and live younger with this historic breakthrough in stem cell activation. It's a new wearable technology in patch form. It's affordable, it's safe, it's non-invasive, it's drug-free, and it's a patented form of phototherapy, which I'm going to dive into in just a minute here. It uses specific frequencies of light to increase and improve our stem cell activity. And this is the brainchild of our visionary founder and CEO, David Schmidt. And David's not only a brilliant scientist and researcher, he's a genius inventor with over 100 patents and patent pendings. And he's been on the leading edge of phototherapy research and science for over 20 years. And he's already conducted over 90 clinical studies proving the efficacy of LifeWave phototherapy products. And many more studies are always in the works. So that's because LifeWave is an advanced technology company. We're a 17-year-old company founded back in 2004 based on an energy-enhancing technology that David Schmidt, our founder and developer, actually developed under a government contract for Navy SEALs to help them increase their strength, stamina, and performance without the use of drugs, stimulants, or caffeines. And that technology, that product turned out to be so effective. It's now used by world-class athletes around the world in almost every sport. And I'm happy to tell you we now have corporate headquarters, laboratory, and manufacturing in California, Utah, and Ireland, and global distribution to 75 plus countries with 14 global distribution centers. And the word is getting out on LifeWave, and our patches are now used by pro and amateur athletes around the world, again, in almost every sport. And the media's begin to notice, and you might too, if you start looking more closely and seeing these obscure little white patches on some of your favorite athletes, even during the Olympics, because they're approved by the Olympics Committee. So how does this amazing technology work? Well, it's based on a type of light therapy called photobiomodulation, and LifeWave patches contain very specific combinations of organic materials and nanocrystals that when applied or near the body, they're activated by our body heat, and they begin to emit a very specific wavelengths of light, which stimulate targeted and beneficial biochemical responses in the body. And this is known as photobiomodulation, and it is the basis of our LifeWave phototherapy patches. Now, it's been a well-recognized and proven scientific principle that specific frequencies of light can cause specific changes in our body. For example, when we go out in the sun, a very specific frequency of light causes our body to make vitamin D. Another frequency of light causes our body to make melanin, the chemical that gives us a suntan. Well, LifeWave's LifeWave's patented technology is based on the same rock-solid scientific principle. Our focus for the last 12 years has been in the field of anti-aging and more specific regenerative science. And in January of 2019, 3 years ago, we released to the global market the LifeWave X39 stem cell activation patch, and we've changed the face of health in America and the world. This truly is a historic and affordable breakthrough in stem cell activation, some calling it the holy grail of anti-aging and restorative science, because we are actually doing what the multi-billion-dollar companies and big pharma have not yet been able to do. X39 activates a very specific copper peptide that activates our body's own stem cells, and at the same time begins altering gene expression of thousands of our genes towards a younger and more vibrant you. And so X39 is a game changer. It's a true scientific breakthrough, and our inventor, founder, and CEO, David Schmidt, says it's my greatest achievement yet. Yes, we have patents. Yes, we have clinical studies. And yes, we have tremendous field results validating that X39 is actually turning back our biological clock, helping us to look, feel, perform, and live younger. And for us baby boomers, this is very exciting news. So with that, Robin, I'm going to turn it back over to you and Dr. Barbara. And thanks, everybody, for tuning in tonight.
Thank you, Gregory. That presentation is always a gift. You do such a beautiful job summarizing a little bit about the company, the history of technology, and David. And now we get to turn into the next part of our program, and I get to introduce our special doctor this evening. And she comes to us as a functional medicine chiropractor out of Fort Collins. She originally was a classical pianist and had a significant health challenge where a chiropractor made a huge difference in her life. And she went on to become a chiropractor herself. And she loves working with people that have thyroid and autoimmune challenges, as that's one of her specialties. She also is a detox specialist, and maybe we can talk a little bit about that this evening, Dr. Barbara. She's the mother of 7 children, and we are so blessed to have such amazing practitioners in our business, sharing our products. And I want to welcome Dr. Barbara Jennings. There she is.
Hello.
Hi. Oh my gosh, look at that fuzzy pink sweater. I love it.
Yeah, it's cold here. It was a day for a fuzzy sweater.
I know, me too. Mm-hmm. So let's jump in. And maybe we can talk a little bit about detox being the beginning of the year, but we'll get to that in a little bit. How about that?
Sure.
Let's start out with what we always like to start out with, because we have many guests on the line and we have so many practitioners, MDs, NDs, DCs, acupuncturists, that really have come to grow and love LifeWave. And as a functional medicine chiropractor, What is it about LifeWave that attracted you, Dr. Barbara?
It was really the ability for me to provide something for my patients that I could not in another way. Really, if stem cells can do things that nothing else can do for a person. And there are a limited number of ways to get more stem cells. And unless I want to refer someone to a very expensive injection that is not guaranteed to work, in fact, has a very good chance, significant chance of not working at all, versus using these phototherapy patches that are very affordable and I believe will work for everybody as long as a couple of conditions are right in your body. It's really a no-brainer.
I love it. I love it. So you said something really valuable. As long as the conditions are right in your body. Would you explain that a little further?
Yes. So a few things. So stem cells are going to, well, back up. What this stem cell activation patch does is activate your body's production of the GHK copper peptide, right? It doesn't directly activate stem cells, it activates this copper peptide, which all by itself on its own has great merit and a long list of benefits. And one of them being that when it is elevated in your body, that in turn triggers new stem cell production. So really we get dual benefits with long lists of good things from this one patch, right? Some from this copper peptide, some from the stem cells that are activated and start to increase. So in order to make that copper peptide, you have to have copper in your body, right? It's not going to make it out of thin air. So we do need to have copper present in our diet. And that can be found in foods. It can be supplemented if you want, but it's got to be there first. And the patches also work better, as does everything in your body, when you're well hydrated. So don't be dehydrated, right? Supplement with some good trace minerals so you can retain the water that you drink in your cells, right? Those electrolytes or trace minerals are what allow the water to absorb inside your cells and not be subject to gravity and fall to your ankles and feet and make swollen feet. That's a sign of a mineral deficient body often. And yeah, so drink water, have copper in your diet, and you've got those two things. As long as you're warm, right? You're not dead, you're alive, then you're emitting body heat, and that body heat is the infrared light source that activates the whole thing. So if these patches on your skin, they're going to work. And I think they work for everybody. And I love the fact that using the patches, because they're so affordable, you use one a day. If you're consistent with them, you get consistent stem cell production over time, as opposed to injections, which are, there it is. Couldn't be any easier to put that on. It's a Band-Aid. As opposed to a very expensive injection, which is one injection, one time in one site.
No guarantee.
And no guarantee.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
Thank you. So those are the conditions. And, we haven't asked this in a while. And I think, it's the beginning of the year. We're looking at doing things, making healthy choices. Would you define what good hydration is?
Good hydration. Well, so the common rule of thumb is to drink approximately half your body weight, maybe a little more, in ounces, right? So if you weigh 200 pounds, you're going to drink approximately 100 ounces of water per day. And it will work better if you have trace minerals in your diet. We get trace minerals from fruits and vegetables, so definitely eat those. And you can always find a good mineral supplement. There's a lot of them out there.
Great. Thank you, because I think a lot of people just aren't sure about what that means, and I appreciate that. So,
Right. So let me just say, some other types of drinks can count towards your hydration, and some can't. Right. So some are diuretics. So alcohol does not count. I don't count coffee. Tea usually does. Caffeine is not going to work in your favor to for hydration. If you're making green smoothies and juicing, that counts. So it doesn't all have to come from just one water bottle.
Well, that's really, really helpful to know. So you said these are for everyone. What can people expect, and how long would it take for people to notice something?
That's a great question. It's the $1 million question, because it's just not the same for everyone. So what can you expect? You could expect to feel absolutely nothing. You could expect to feel better in a short period of time. I've had some people who felt better within 4 hours, significant pain reduction in 4 hours. I've also had people who didn't feel anything for 3 months. I've had people who actually felt worse. Maybe a return or exacerbation of a symptom, or they felt more tired. Well, all of these things are normal. They're all possible. They're all valid options for what a person can expect. Well, and if they're feeling worse or more tired, that's not going to last forever, right? That's usually a finite period of time. Your body, what I believe is happening if a person is more tired, and I see this between 10 and 20% of the time, I think. It takes a great deal of energy to do the work of repairing, to do the work of healing. Our bodies usually heal at night when we're not expending energy up and about. We're sleeping, and energy is used internally to heal and repair things. And so when you kind of suddenly have all of these new stem cells available in your body that it hasn't had for a long time, and the balances as we age start to tip away from our favor, right? With we lose the ability to keep up with inflammation and the wear and tear of our body and stress. So when you suddenly have more stem cells, your body is going to put them to work, and that is going to take energy. So it's going to take energy away from your muscles. You may feel like you have less energy when really it's just directed inward.
Well, that's really, really helpful, because some people think, they'll notice something instantly. And once in a while we do have that, which is wonderful. But I think giving it time, like you said, 3 months, it's always working, but we may not be noticing because those stem cells are busy doing something that needs to be done, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And the fact that you have more stem cells is fantastic. And that's what we want, but we don't have the ability to tell our bodies what to do with them. Yeah. So the body's wisdom takes over, and it will use them in its own priority. And some of those things may be noticeable. You may or may not feel them for a period of time.
No. And you mentioned that sometimes it might not feel very good. Sometimes people may be tired, and you explain that. And it's kind of like, I just recently listened to your webinar on cleansing, that we need sometimes, I like to quote Dr. Nicholas, feeling is healing. And so it's doing good work, and this is why don't you just give just before we move on, just a little bit about the importance of detoxifying and cleansing our body, especially as the seasons change and at this time of year.
Well, it's a sad fact that none of us are safe from toxin exposure. Inflammation affects us all. And there are three sources of inflammation. It can come from our diet, either eating bad things or foods that don't agree with your body, right? Not every vegetable, not every fruit is going to be great for every single body, right? And then there's infections and there are toxins. And really a toxin, I define it really simply. It's something that's in your body that doesn't belong there, right? You weren't born with it. It doesn't belong. And if it doesn't belong, guess what? Your body won't ignore it, right? It's probably not going to ignore it. And different bacteria and parasites, they go to great, amazing lengths to cloak and hide themselves so that your body can, hopefully miss it to be ignored. But we all have some of these three things. And it's great to clean up your body, remove these sources of inflammation, because when there's less inflammation, guess what? Stem cells can work better and they can work faster. So your healing and repair will accelerate the cleaner your inner terrain becomes.
Beautiful, beautiful. So if anyone has more interest in learning from Dr. Barbara about her cleansing program, you can put your email to the panelists here and we'll get you some information. And for those of you that are part of our Live Younger community, you can find it in our Facebook group, Live Younger. So let's go to some questions. You ready for some questions?
I am. Let's go.
All right. So Mary Page would like to know what kind of experience and what have you suggested for cognitive issues?
Well, there's a lot of different cognitive issues, so I'm not sure which type you are talking about. I'm going to assume you mean maybe cognitive issues that come with aging.
Okay.
So two things really have to be at the top priority. One has to be removing inflammation from the brain, detoxifying the brain. Your brain detoxifies while you sleep. So, it's unfortunate, but very common for aging people to have poor sleep, but it becomes so important. So good sleep really needs to be a priority. And I love the Silent Nights patch. I know that's not what this tonight is about, but it's such a helpful patch because, instead of stimulating production of copper peptide and then stem cells, it stimulates production of melatonin and sleep chemistry. And you can wear it all through the night. So it helps you maintain that chemistry during the night. And it's not addictive. It's not a medication. It's completely safe for everybody. So you've got to sleep and you've got to detoxify the brain. And you really need certain kind of binders. You just need help, right? You've got to sleep that gives your body the time. And then you need some help to remove things that are causing inflammation. And I think one thing that a lot of people don't know, at least not yet, hopefully awareness is growing, but Alzheimer's disease is also now called type 3 diabetes. So, sorry, someone's calling me. Stop eating sugar. Super important for cognitive decline. Sugar's very inflammatory. It really affects your brain.
That is a hot tip for everyone. And Mary did say it was age related. So thank you for that. And, sleep is something that sometimes we just don't give enough credit to. And that is when our body regenerates and repairs. So having quality sleep is so important. And you said something really valuable, that the patches don't put anything in the body. They help the body create the melatonin. They help the body activate the copper peptide. So it's the body's the miracle in all of this. So we got a few more questions here. Charlie would like to know about bladder control, ?
What is the question?
Well, you just said bladder control question mark. So what would you recommend for people with the patches? for
Is this
bladder
a young,
control?
is this a young person or an elderly person? Or
Charlie-
something in
Charlie,
between?
why don't you respond to that? And while you're doing that, we'll go to the next question. And Denise wants to know, what do you recommend for heart palpitations and heart out of redeem? I don't know what that means.
Probably rhythm,
A rhythm, probably.
rhythm.
Yeah.
Okay, so for heart, when we're talking about using the patches, then the go-to for heart is going to be the X39, the stem cell activation patch, because those stem cells can become a nerve, the nerves to your heart. It can become a heart muscle, it can become a heart valve, it can become any part. Also, we've seen very positive effects with heart and blood pressure, just simply from the use of X39 over time. The second one would be carnosine. We have a carnosine patch, which has great benefits to the heart muscle. Heart rhythm is often an electrical issue, and there are actually vitamins that help your heart convert food energy into electrical energy. So eat a lot of vegetables, get a really well-balanced diet. So eat all the colors of fruits and vegetables, get really good nutrition, and that can help your body improve electrical rhythms.
Beautiful, beautiful. So Charlie responded that the bladder control is with a female in her late 50s.
Okay. Well, as a chiropractor, I would say definitely go get adjusted, get your low back, your pelvis adjusted, because often there's a nerve pinching and a nerve component to that. So in addition to a good chiropractor and some good adjustments, I would use the X39. I would use the carnosine. I would use the glutathione patch to reduce inflammation. I would probably put it just above the pubic bone, so it's near the bladder and the pelvic floor. And Eon. I love Eon. It's so good for the nervous system. It helps to balance and regulate good, healthy, normal activity in your nervous system.
Great, thank you so much for that. And we've heard many people that have had that challenge with just X39 getting great results and benefits. So there's kind of the good, better, best, good X39, better glutathione, best X39, glutathione, and Eon. But
yes.
Yeah, so we like that. And if a person, this is from Luis, if a person has a pacemaker implant, what can be expected?
When using the patches?
Yes.
Well, it's not going to interfere. I'm not sure if that's what's behind the question, but the patches will not interfere with the pacemaker. The patches are designed, I love these patches because what they do is stimulate your body with light to do what it's designed to do in the way it's designed to do it.
Love it.
So it can help your body make more of some things that may be lacking. It can help your body heal and repair. It's not going to put anything new in to interfere, and it's not going to interact with any medications or devices. So, can you expect improvement in your heart rhythm? Maybe. I can't say for sure, but I wouldn't be surprised if you did.
Well, thank you for that. And we do know that the company did do testing on people that did have pacemakers to discover it was safe to use the patches. Now, there's one group of people that we actually recommend to not use the patches. So would you talk about that for a minute, Dr. Barbara?
Yes, and that is our people who have received an organ transplant. And the only reason for that is because those people are usually on an immunosuppressive drug, and these patches will support your immune system, and maybe improve immune function. So we don't want those organs being rejected. So those people are not recommended to use X39, but I'm not aware that they should not use the other patches.
Okay, wonderful. So Dr. Dennis Pena has his hand up. Let me see if we can get him to share. We typically have people share if they have a story. And Dr. Pena, you have to unmute your line.
It's just a question. I just don't know how this works.
Okay, we'll let you by this time. Next time,
Can you see my question?
Questions go in the chat and stories go, but go for it.
Okay.
You're on.
Can you see
You're
my
on.
question? What about
What
pregnancy?
about
Is it
pregnant
okay?
women?
Yeah.
Good question. Okay, so the official word from the company is, talk to your healthcare professional, or not recommended for pregnant women. Nothing's tested on pregnant women for obvious reasons. No one wants the liability of possibly being blamed for anything in a pregnancy going wrong. Personally, if I were pregnant again, thank goodness I'm not, 7's enough. If I were pregnant, I would feel comfortable using X39. Remember, it's just light. It's a light frequency stimulating a specific peptide. Is that peptide safe for pregnancy? Yes. Are stem cells safe in pregnancy? They're everywhere. So I would wear it. Officially, am I announcing every pregnant woman should wear it? No. Use your own intuition, your own thought process. Talk to your doctor about it if you'd like. Now, if for pregnant women, there are some that I probably would stay away from, or at least maybe just use in very small increments, and that would be the glutathione, because it's really potent. That is a strong patch. It makes things happen. People detox, right? I've had multiple patients who are cancer survivors and had chemotherapy in the past, and within hours, 4 to 6 hours, they're vomiting, they're nauseous. It's like they just had a chemo treatment. So it really works in helping the body purge toxins. SP6 changes, does hormonal balancing, right? Hormonal balancing. I personally have not seen any research on pregnancy and SP6. So I actually can't tell you if it's great or if it's not. So until I find something on that, I'm not recommending it for pregnant women.
Okay, that's a great answer. And always consult your practitioner, and just remember there's nothing going into the body other than a frequency of light. And like Dr. Barbara said, there's no company that tests on pregnant women.
Right.
And do we have pregnant women using the patches? The answer is yes. We have someone that works with us, and a lot of pregnant women have that low back thing going on, and she comes in my office, she goes, "Would you put some ice wave on me?" For the pain relief. Okay, we got one final question here from Kim, and Kim is asking, how about people who have donated an organ? Are the patches safe for them?
Sure. Yep. Yeah.
Great.
So just remember, sunshine has all frequencies of light, right? We're not going to invent a light, a man-made frequency that's not coming from the sun, I don't think. So most of these things, they're just taking a single frequency where the sun is a full spectrum, so in so many ways you can think, is it safe for me to spend time in the sun? It's probably safe to wear a patch, right? With a very few exceptions.
That's beautiful. Okay, Dr. Barbara, it's our very first call of the new year. What other final comments do you have for everyone as we close out our very first call of the year?
Oh, goodness. Well, let's get healthier. You know, these patches can take us a long way in improving health. You know, they don't fix a deficiency, right? So you need a good diet, and they're going to work better if you sleep well, if you're hydrated, and if you have good nutrition. And remove inflammation, reduce inflammation. If you want to do that, you can join me in my group detox that starts next week. Otherwise, you know, let's have a fantastic year.
I love that. And we've got to do our part. You know, the Patrick's are miraculous, but we've got to do our part. And you said it all. So I want to thank you, Dr. Barbara, for your great wisdom and sharing and caring that you do so beautifully. And I love learning from you. And like we said, Dr. Barbara is doing a group detox program. And if you want more information, you can put your email in the chat. And thank you everyone for joining us, for taking time out of the first Tuesday of the new year. And we appreciate you being here with us. If you are a guest this evening, this is a wonderful call for people that are just getting introduced to LifeWave. And so please get back to the person who invited you and get started. There's no risk. The product comes with a guarantee. We have a wonderful customer program. And then if you're the kind of person that likes to, you know, share out of your caring, then there's a wonderful compensation plan program also. So thank you everyone for joining us this evening. We really appreciate you being with us, and Happy New Year, everyone. Bye.
Yes, bye-bye.